Do not skip this video. What you're about to see happened in a real courtroom and transformed an entire nation's justice system. A 3-year-old child did something that stunned everyone. He pointed at a police officer in a crowded room. What happened next will leave you speechless. Turn on the notification bell to discover how an innocent child exposed one of the greatest scandals in history. Please also let us know where you're listening from. It was a bustling Tuesday at the Central Courthouse. What seemed like a routine session was about to become one of the most pivotal legal cases in Brazilian history. Among the attendees was Maria, clutching her 3-year-old son, Lucas. Unaware of the courtroom's serious atmosphere, Lucas quietly played with his toy ambulance, a recent birthday gift. His curious eyes wandered to the courtroom's towering ceilings, enchanted by the ornate chandeliers glimmering above. Maria was there as a witness in an armed robbery case. She had seen the crime unfold through her store window 6 months earlier and was now called to testify. With no one to watch Lucas, she brought him along after convincing the judge to allow it. The courtroom's formal air clashed starkly with the boy's innocence. While sharply dressed lawyers rushed through the halls, Lucas remained in his own world, rolling his toy ambulance along the armrest of his chair. Then, the side doors swung open, and bailiffs and police officers entered to maintain courtroom security. A line of uniformed men and women took their usual positions, a routine moment no one noticed. No one, that is, except Lucas. Suddenly, he stopped playing. His toy ambulance slipped from his hands, clattering to the floor and echoing through the hushed hall. With a seriousness far beyond his years, Lucas raised his tiny finger and pointed directly at one of the officers. "There he is," his small voice rang out, shattering the courtroom's silence. "Mama, it's him." Silence engulfed the room as heads turned first to the boy, then to the officer he pointed at, who instantly paled. No one knew it yet, but this innocent gesture was about to unleash a chain of events that would reshape the justice system forever. The officer Lucas pointed at, Sergeant Mendez, stood frozen, his face a mix of shock and dread. Maria noticed his hands, once steady, now trembling. Judge Carlos Almeida, preparing to begin the session, sensed the rising tension. "Mama, it's him. That's him," Lucas insisted with startling conviction. Maria, embarrassed by the attention, tried to hush her son, but Lucas wouldn't relent, his eyes fixed on the officer. Sergeant Mendez took a step back, as if trying to melt into the wall. Prosecutor Dr. Rafael Costa watched with growing intrigue. With 20 years of experience, he trusted his gut, and something about Mendez's reaction set off alarms. It wasn't the behavior of an innocent man, it was the reaction of someone caught off guard. "Let's take a brief recess," Judge Almeida announced, feeling the mounting unease. "Sergeant Mendez, please join me in my chambers." As murmurs filled the courtroom, Dr. Costa approached Maria quietly. "Ma'am, can you explain why your son reacted that way?" Still bewildered, Maria replied, "I don't know. Lucas has never seen him before. We're only here for my testimony about the robbery." The prosecutor's brow furrowed. "Did you see the robbers' faces?" "No, they wore masks," Maria said, then paused as realization hit. "But one of them, he limped on his right leg." All eyes turned to Sergeant Mendez as he walked toward the judge's chambers, a slight limp in his right leg. Dr. Costa gave a discreet signal to court security to secure all exits. His instincts told him they were on the brink of uncovering something massive. Hours later, the incident had snowballed into a full-scale investigation. While Mendez was detained for questioning, a special team began digging into his background. What they uncovered exceeded everyone's expectations. "Pull every case Mendez was involved in over the last 5 years," Dr. Costa ordered. The prosecutor's office became a makeshift investigation hub, with stacks of files revealing a chilling pattern. In every robbery, victims described a suspect with a limp. Mendez was always the first officer on the scene and played a central role in the investigations. Maria and Lucas were placed under protective custody. Lucas, too young to grasp the magnitude of his actions, played in a secure room, but he froze in fear whenever Mendez's name was mentioned. "Ma'am," Dr. Costa said solemnly, showing Maria a file. "You need to see this." Spread before her were dozens of police reports, all describing robberies with masked suspects, one limping on his right leg. But that wasn't all. Investigators uncovered large deposits in offshore accounts tied to shell companies, perfectly timed with the robbery dates. As the investigation deepened, past victims were re-interviewed. Many identified Mendez from photos without his uniform. One elderly victim fainted upon seeing him. "It's him," she trembled. "He wore a mask, but I'll never forget those eyes and that limp." The scandal grew as other officers came forward. One young cop, speaking anonymously, revealed he ran a sophisticated operation. He used police intel to pick targets, committed the robberies, then investigated them, framing innocent people. The investigation exploded in the media. Headlines screamed, "3-year-old exposes police crime ring." The Central Courthouse became the epicenter of Brazil's largest corruption scandal. After 48 hours of intense questioning, Sergeant Mendez broke. "It started 7 years ago," he confessed on video. "We used police intel to target vulnerable people, shopkeepers, the elderly, anyone with cash at home. Then we robbed them." The investigation revealed a sprawling network involving 3 senior detectives and a retired judge. "This wasn't just crime, it was systemic corruption," Dr. Costa said at a press conference. "They framed innocent people while remaining untouchable." Maria's store had been one of many targets. Reflecting later, Maria said, "When Lucas pointed at him, it clicked. That limp I saw during the robbery, but I couldn't believe a cop could be the criminal." Lucas became an unwitting hero. Psychologists praised his ability to pick up on subtle cues adults overlooked. "Uniforms inspire trust, but children follow instinct," Dr. Sofia Lima explained. The investigation also exposed a massive money laundering scheme, with over 50 million reais funneled through cryptocurrency and shell companies. "Each document revealed new layers," said lead investigator Ana Ribeiro. "What began with a child's gesture became the largest anti-corruption operation in local police history. Victims finally found closure, and wrongfully convicted individuals were freed. My mother died thinking street criminals robbed her," one tearful victim said. "Now we know it was the people meant to protect us." Months later, Lucas' gesture sparked sweeping reforms across the country. Dubbed the Lucas Protocol, new regulations mandated independent oversight, body cameras for all operations, and AI tools to detect suspicious police activity. Maria was invited to share her story publicly. "I never imagined that day in court would change so many lives," she said tearfully. "My son unknowingly exposed a crime and transformed a system." Lucas, now 4, remained blissfully unaware of his impact. His image, pointing his finger, became a national symbol with the slogan, "Truth comes from the purest hearts." All recovered stolen funds were used to modernize the police and support victims. "This case taught us to look beyond appearances," said Dr. Costa, now leading the new anti-corruption unit. "A child showed us that truth doesn't hide behind badges or ranks." Delegations from other states and countries studied the Lucas Protocol. Law schools and police academies began teaching the case. "Sometimes, a child's innocence reveals what our biases conceal," an international security expert noted. A memorial was built to honor the victims, and a psychological support program was launched for those affected. Lucas, meanwhile, remained a happy child, unaware that his simple gesture had sown the seeds for profound change. "Sometimes," Maria said at the opening of a new police oversight center, "we need to shed our adult cynicism and embrace a child's clarity. My son showed us that truth is plain as day if we dare to point to it." This incredible story has ended, but its lessons endure. Subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss our next compelling story. Let us know in the comments what part of this story moved you most. Share this video with friends and family. Together, we can build a fairer world. Thank you for listening.